promised some favorite techniques from leading designers this season. I'm Katie Hacker, and today we feature inventor and author Stephanie Eddy. She's expanded Viking knitting in new directions, and you are going to love it. Hi, Stephanie. Good morning.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
Great. Hey, I love what you're doing with Viking knit, and adding beads to it makes it look really different. I mean, it's just a simple embellishment, but I think it really adds a different kind of style.
It does. It just makes this ancient art kind of brings it into the 21st century.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so how do we get started? Well, maybe we should take a look at what we're going to make over here.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make a basic chain, and then we're just going to be doing a topical application of beads. So it's a real simple technique.
All right. So we start out with several tools.
Yes. We start out with a tool. This is specifically made for doing Viking knit. It has 12 little flat surfaces on the rod, and it has 12 loops on this head, and basically we're just going to stick that right in the top.
Okay.
We're going to work with about 36 inches of wire at a time, and then we can add wire. We can splice it in.
And does it matter what gauge wire you use?
You can use anything from 16 gauge to 34 gauge.
Okay.
Depending on what you want to make. So I'm going to insert the wire into the hole. That's called the anchor hole. Now the tool, when you get it, is white, so I usually take a marking pen and make it red, or something so you can see it. I'm sticking it all the way through. You can see it comes at an angle, and you want to stick out about an inch. Put your middle finger on it. And what I'm going to do, Viking knit is an ancient technique, and it's a way of weaving wire together. It's not really your traditional knitting at all. If I am right-handed, I'm going to make counterclockwise loops. If I'm left-handed, I'll make clockwise loops. So all I'm going to do is take my wire, and remember that your wire has memory. Normally you'll get it off of a spool, so if you work with that curve, it'll keep it from getting tangled.
That makes sense.
So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through one of the loops, and this would be the loop that's closest to the anchor hole, but remember I can move it. And I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to cross over, and I'm going to make kind of a teardrop-shaped loop.
Okay.
You can see there's a little ridge there. That's just an indication if I want to make it about that length. It's just something to eyeball it. And you always put your thumb over the loop that you created, and then I go to the next one. So I'm going to skip a loop, and see the wire stays right over the top. It's always the easiest path with Viking knit. If it seems like it's difficult, you're probably doing it wrong.
Oh, that makes it easy, huh?
It does. Everybody kind of wants to make it more difficult than it is, but it's really a very simple technique. So all I'm going to do is put these 6 loops on here.
I like that you could use different colors too.
You can. You can use precious metal wires, but you can also use all of the craft wires. Now, if you're using a craft wire, a lot of times a copper base is the best because that's the most flexible and it tends to work really well. But you want to just be careful that you don't accidentally scratch it.
Right.
Okay, so I've made all those loops all the way around. Now, it looks like I've just made loops, but there's actually 3 parts to this. And I can show you on this diagram.
Okay.
Here we have what the loops look like. This is for a right-handed person. So there's the loop itself, but then there's where the wires cross, and that's a really important place. That's like where the treasure's buried, like X marks the spot. And then there's also the space when you're going to the next loop. It's called the rung, like steps on a ladder. Also really important. So there's 3 parts: your loop, your cross, and your rung.
Okay.
Okay. So when I come back over to my weave, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the cross right here, and I'm going to go underneath it. And so I'm thinking of this as the shovel if I'm digging for the treasure. I'm going to go right underneath it, and now I'm going to pull my wire. I'm still making that counterclockwise loop, but now I'm just going to make a smaller loop.
Okay.
And I'm going to put my finger on it, and I'm going to go to the next one. Put my wire underneath, and I like to pull it straight across and straight down the rod. That will help you keep your columns straight. It's really important in Viking knit to keep those columns straight.
All right. When you draw it out later, I'm sure that's when you start to see that part, that you would need it to be straight before you do that, right?
Because what happens if you're right-handed, it'll tend to move to the right if you don't keep your finger on it.
Okay.
And so keeping your thumb on it as well as the press down keeps it from moving. Because you are really working in a spiral pattern anyway. So if your work is spiraling, then when you pull it through the draw plate, it would tend to want to curl instead of laying flat. So it's important to keep those columns straight. Again, all we're doing is going underneath the loops, pulling it around, down the rod, put your thumb on it. So that's the basic technique.
Okay.
So it's
Seems
really
pretty easy
simple
so far.
yeah, simple, fast, easy.
So then when you need to add another wire.
So when we're going to add another wire, the reason that the head comes off is because you can push it up. So this way I can make this the weave however long I want to make it. I'm not
so if you wanted to
restricted
make a
to
whole
doing it this
necklace
way.
or-
Right. This is really just the handle area. So I'm going to take, we want to make it look like we didn't add wire, you know.
Right.
So we're going to splice it in. So I'm going to put the last loop that I've made, it's going to sit over that anchor hole. Now this 1/2-inch tool has 2 anchor holes. You can use either one. I'm going to use the top one. And I'm going to use a contrasting wire so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm basically just going to put that through there just like we did before. Put my finger on it, and now you see they're coming out in the same position. Put my thumb on it, and now this is going to become my new working wire.
Great. And then you just keep going.
And we just keep going. Now what's going to happen though is with Viking knit, you don't want to leave any loose wire inside the weave, because if you do, what's going to happen is it's going to eventually come to the top and it's going to make your work very scratchy. So what you're going to do is you have 2 tails that you're working with, the tail from the old wire and the tail from the new working wire. When you come underneath these loops, what you're going to do is you're actually going to dig deeper for the treasure, and you will be actually going underneath those loops as well as under the wire.
So you're weaving it in.
You're weaving it in. So I'm going to go twice around, and the reason this comes at an angle is because it gives me extra time before I have to deal with this little tail, because you don't want to accidentally weave that in or it's stuck on the tool. So I'm just going to turn this, pull it off. They'll both come back into the same position.
Oh, okay.
And when I weave around, I'll be going under both wires. And I can show you a larger example
Yes,
of what
let's see
that
it.
looks like inside. You can see inside here, those loops are woven tightly in there so that they're not going anywhere. Now, and we call these little keepers. The little keeper is what keeps these from moving. How many keepers you do depends on how far you're going to draw down your weave, because the further you draw down the weave, the more it would stretch out. So if I was only going to draw this once or twice, I might do 4 or 5 keepers. If I'm going to reduce it quite a bit, I might put down 10 or 12. It just depends on what your project's going to be.
Okay.
Okay, so once we have our weave done.
Do you want me to move this one?
Yes, please. Okay, so here we are. This is our raw weave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off the rod, and I'm going to remove the daisy head, and that's simply a matter of pressing down and cutting all the loops up above to release the head.
All right.
And there it is. Now we need a way to pull it through the draw plate. So I'm just going to insert some, I call them little hairpins, but they're just loose pieces of wire, yeah, to pull through. And that makes my little handle.
Perfect. It's kind of your own needle.
It is, it is. And these are just scrap pieces of wire.
Are you just making sure that you do them opposite each other so that it
Yeah, it's just
pulls
something
evenly?
to, yeah. And these are going to be cut off as well, so it's just kind of a temporary thing, okay? Now, I'm going to use my conditioning fabric, and this is just a technique that I learned how to do many years ago. Some people don't do it, but it just kind of evens things out and loosens it up a little bit, and it's a little bit easier to pull it through your draw plate. Now, when you pull Viking knit through the draw plate, you always start at the raw size. So I start this way, and you have to work down progressively. And all it is a matter of putting it through the draw plate. We'll go through the top hole. I'll just pull it through once, and you won't get a lot happening. Now, we happen to have about 4.5 inches. And I'm going to pull this all the way down to 5/16. So here's our next one. And you want to pull slowly. If you pull fast, it will have more of a tendency to want to curl. And we don't want it to be curl, we want it to lay flat. So our next one is 7/16, and you can see how easily that goes through there.
Yeah, so you're just really deliberate about the pressure.
Exactly, just
pulling
nice
it.
and easy tension on it.
You know, this is a lot easier than I thought.
It is, and it's a nice portable craft. It's something, you need one tool and some wire, and you put it in your pocket, and you can take it with you wherever you go.
Oh, and I love to do it on the go. That's great.
Okay, so that's our finished technique there. So once we're done with it, we're going to go ahead and cut off our ends. Just trim those off. And the nice thing about Viking knit is you can cut it off at any point, and it won't unravel. It's not going to do anything. You're just going to end up with a few loose pieces. There we go. And we'll tuck this one in here. Okay, so there's our finished weave. Okay.
All right.
Now, if you will, we're going to put the topical embellishment on here.
Okay. Do you always do that before you attach the clasp, or can you do it afterward?
I do it first because I'm going to want to slide it over the top,
Oh,
and if I
right.
put those on, the end caps
Got
on there,
it.
it may not fit over there.
Okay.
So all I have is some miscellaneous beads here. I have about 12 inches, and I'm using the same wire that I did the weave with. And I'm going to put a little stop bead here. A stop bead is basically just a bead that you've gone through again, and it's just basically going to hold them from coming off.
Okay.
Then I'm going to wrap them around a cylinder.
And you can use anything.
You can use anything that's approximately the size of the weave that you're doing,
All right.
like that. And then we'd pull this off, and then we would set this through here.
I love the look of the embellishment when it's finished.
And then what we would do is we're just going to take these end wires and we're just going to weave them into the weave so that so that you're just kind of burying it in there so that you can't really see what it looks like.
Okay.
So that's going to be our center. Keep it in there. And then our final finishing technique.
We'll trade here. Here, I'll bring this one closer.
All right. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. So when we would be finished with this, and I'll just wrap these around here and get them out of the way for now. But these would have been buried in that weave, okay?
Okay.
Our finishing technique is basically going to be taking a 20 gauge wire. We're going to do a wire wrap loop on the end.
Perfect.
We'll trim that. And that's about the right length. And then we're going to fish this through here.
Could you also use other things like cording or beading wire, or do you always wrap it onto wire also in the middle? Do you know what I mean? This part that comes through the center.
Oh yeah, you could put anything else in. You could use beading wire or any other kinds of things in there.
Okay.
So that's going to go through all the way through the end of the weave here. Okay, well, let me show you on this one.
Sure.
This one is finished here. So basically all I have done is, on this one I'm putting a wire through the entire thing, and what I will do is I'll put my end caps on the end and just wire wrap the ends.
And then you can just attach your clasp.
You can. Now if you don't want this wire going through here giving the structure, you can see this is very loose. I've only put the 20 gauge wire on the tip here instead of running it through the entire thing. So this will make it stiff and this will make it very flexible, but either way it's just a matter of putting your end cap, putting another wire wrap loop on the end, putting your chains on with your jump rings, and you're done.
Easy.
And then you can have these type of projects.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thanks, it's been fun.